Welcome to the FUTUR3 podcast. Boom. I'm Sean.
I'm Shaylin.
And I'm Cyan.
And we are the FUTUR3 podcast.
So today's guest is a third-generation jeweler. She studied finance at Boston University. She has 24 years of experience. She grew up in a family-owned business called Nina Jewelers. Please welcome Sheena Dedia.
Hi, guys. Thanks for finally having me on your podcast. I wanted to save myself as a milestone guest, but guess what? That didn't happen. So here I am. Excited to be here.
Yep. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah.
This is actually kind of a milestone, isn't it? 5?
Yeah, 5th podcast.
Is this the 5th one?
Yep.
Okay, fine.
Already, yeah.
Fine.
Yep.
I'll take it. I'll
That
take
counts.
it.
First milestone.
Yeah. Congratulations, boys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure to have our mother as our 5th guest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right,
I feel special.
guys. So before we get this journey breakdown on the way, let's ask you, Mom, for some background about yourself on how you got to the point, to the position that you are currently.
So it's been a long journey, a fulfilling journey, and a really fun one, actually. As you guys know, but our listeners don't know, my sisters and I have grown up in the family business. My grandfather was a jeweler. My parents were jewelers. Well, mother. And now I'm a jeweler. So it was kind of just there for me. Growing up, we were always in the store. We had a retail store on Oak Tree Road in Island, New Jersey. Growing up, I was just always in the store, and being the eldest of the 3 daughters, the responsibility kind of fell on me to say, hey, okay, we need to step out. Can you stay here? Or why don't you go help this customer? It was just a mindset of like, you're the oldest, so you can do it. Oak Tree Road is a whole different beast, but we'll get into that later. And then when it was time to go to college, we were all kind of picking majors that we knew. We didn't growing up have this kind of platform or this kind of exposure to different professions and different fields where we can explore, or maybe we did, but we just didn't know how to look into it. So we kind of just fell into what was comfortable, like Nina medicine, Dipti law, and me business. Does that make sense?
Yep. Yeah. I feel like those 3 are kind of the core college majors. That's like the most common in my opinion, right?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, what are you guys hearing now? Are those pretty much common college majors that your peers are falling into?
Yeah, I mean, I hear a lot of people in my grade that are wanting to go into those majors.
Yeah.
Business is very, very popular.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
But I
It's
also
popular.
feel like it's kind of the safest too.
Yeah, and it's a big, there's a big net that can be cast with that major, right? And it's almost like if you don't know, I don't know. I felt like because I wasn't 100% sure what I wanted to do, business was probably the safest, and a business school was the safest, and I can go anywhere from there.
Okay. So moving into your high school life, obviously you were the oldest in your family. What responsibility did you have with helping your mom with the jewelry business? How did that build your confidence?
Great question. Like I mentioned, since I was the eldest, it kind of just naturally came to my parents to say, okay, Sheena, you handle it, or you help that customer, or you stand here while we have to step out. And that building a confidence at that age really helps you in your future life. And that's why I would say I felt confident to say, I can do this in the future. So it kind of built my confidence to say, okay, this field feels really good to me and familiar to me, and I'm good at it because my parents gave me that responsibility at a young age.
Yeah, and going back to what you said about confidence, you praise that to us every single day because you know how important it is, and it's helped you shape your career.
100%. I think that confidence is so key. And I tell you guys all the time that that is 90% of the battle, right? Communication, confidence, just the way you present yourself. You should be smart, you should be kind, you should be all the things. But confidence also is a part of that journey that'll translate into very, very fulfilling adult life. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
also, I'm kind
Uh-huh.
of an introvert, so I'm more shy than those two over there, or more
Yeah.
Shaylin. So you gave me some good pointers and said that if you're not making sense when you're talking, confidence will make you sound right.
Yeah. It's just like, we say all the time that Shaylin can come out with the craziest things that he says. Sometimes it doesn't even make sense, but it's the way you say it. It's the way you present and string those words together that kind of, even if the other person doesn't believe you or think that you're making sense, they kind of take a step back and say, "Oh, you sound like you know what you're talking about."
Yeah.
Right?
That even goes back to like in sports. Remember you guys like the reffing clinic?
Yeah.
The head trainer guy was like, even if you don't make the right call, but your mechanics are proper and you look like you know what you're doing, they're gonna
Mhm.
no player's gonna complain to you because it almost seems like you know you're right and there's nothing to really argue against in that scenario. So that kind of
Yeah.
applies to this too because even in customer facing jobs such as being a jeweler and talking to customers, or even with your sister Dipti, who's a judge, even for that, you have to be able to present your case properly and make
Mhm.
sure that your customer, the person who you're talking to is able to be convinced and think,
Yeah.
or to make sure that you almost seem like you know what you're talking about, basically.
Yeah. Yeah, that's 100% true when I'm selling to clients or talking to clients or whatever it may be. The more educated I am and the more confident I sound in what I know, the more likely they are to either purchase or work with me or whatever it may be. Like it's called customer service, right? In any field, any client facing field, like you said, customer service is key. They always say the customer's always right. And that's so true.
Yep. You always have to kind of agree so that way you don't hurt their
Yeah.
customers' feelings. Because then,
Right.
if their feelings are hurt, they're less likely to actually end up going with you, right?
Yeah, exactly. But you also have to make sure what's right is right and what's wrong is wrong. If
Yeah,
they're 100% wrong, you present your case, but with confidence and facts.
exactly.
Yep.
Yep.
So we all know that you really wanted to do something business related when you were older, but in high school, did you just think of jewelry, like helping Nani with Nina Jewelers as just a side part, like a side job, or did you really want to do that in your future?
So in high school, growing up, we all just helped Nani in the store as needed. It was really busy. Whenever we could, we would just hop in and do whatever we could, whether it was helping customers or cleaning up or putting things away or helping Nani help customers. So it wasn't necessarily something that I was like, okay, I'm going to do this so I could do this in the future. It was just because it was a family business, we were all hands on all the time. And Nani was there most of the day. So after school, we would go there and do our homework in the back if it wasn't busy. If it got busy, we'd come out in the front and help. It just kind of, that's how we grew up. And in the future, when it was time for college, like I said, like business just made sense to me. And so I went to BU, studied all that I studied, loved it, loved the experience, and, kind of graduated from there and said, okay, now what? Like, so it wasn't like, okay, I did that to become a jeweler. I did that thinking I would go into the field.
That's interesting.
Okay, so wrapping up your high school life, which you seem to have loved, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, when you were at BU studying finance, what did you think that your work life would look like in the future?
So once I graduated BU, because I had a finance major and an information technology major, I thought I would just go into banking or a corporate job. I graduated and then I started interviewing with the bigger banks like Deutsche and CSFB and all these banks, and realized through these interviews that this was not what I wanted to do. I wasn't what I was cut out to do. I remember very, very clearly I went to one interview, and one of the interviews, I think it was Brown or something. And the interviewer asked me a very specific question. It was like a very specific finance question. And I was like, what? Like, did not know the answer, did not even know what he was talking about. Mind you, I studied finance for all these years. And I walked out of there and I'm like, I don't even know what he was talking about. And I actually don't even care that much. So I was like, this was not for me. And once I realized that, I kind of went back to the drawing board and I was like, you know what, Sheen, like, what do you want to do? What's your passion? What do you love to do? And so that's when Nani and Nana, we kind of sat down and thought about, with this degree and what you love to do, let's think about the next steps. Meanwhile, Nina Masi and the Tigaki were going on to get their masters or whatever they were getting, law school. And I was like, maybe I'll continue education. And that's when I was like, I don't want to go back to get my MBA. That's not what I want to do. I think I'll go to GIA, which is Gemology Institute of America, and study diamonds and color stones. So I applied for that, went into that school, studied diamonds and color stones, loved it, and immediately graduated from there and started working for a jewelry designer in New York City. And once I started that job, I realized that this was my passion. Like I loved every moment of it.
So basically, you thought that banking was going to be a thing for you to do in college, but then after all of those interviews you took, you realized it wasn't for you. So then you decided to be in the jewelry business, and it's ended up going really well for you.
Yeah, it's going really well. I worked for that designer for years. I helped her with all kinds of things. I met some celebrities, you know that, styled them. Ashanti, Michelle Williams, like so many fun celebrities, styled them, and it was just fun. And then shortly after, I got married and still kept working for her, and then realized that, you know what? Why am I pouring all this effort into working for someone else as a jeweler instead of just growing our own family business? And that's when I decided, let me jump onto our family business and see what we can do there, where we can go from there, and explored opportunities there. And then I had you guys. So once I had you guys, I was fully with Nina Jewelers, and I took a break. I took a break, and thankfully Nani was there, so I could easily just say, you know what, I'm going to take some time off. I'm going to raise my children. It's something that I was so passionate about if it was possible. And thank God we had that opportunity and flexibility for me to stay home and raise you guys. And that's what I did for years and years and years, as you know. And I was there for every game, every milestone, everything. And that was the pleasure of my life. And once you guys got bigger and Nani decided that it was time for her to retire, we actually decided as a family that it was time for Nani to retire. I said, okay, I'm taking this on full time. I'm taking it back. I'm taking it back on full time, and I'm going to turn it into a completely different platform business.
So really what jump-started your career was going to GIA.
Yeah, I found my passion there. I really did.
That just shows that you have to try different things through your college life or high school life,
Yeah.
or maybe just your whole life.
Yeah. Whole life. You know what? Things change all the time. Like, life is long and beautiful, and you should do all the things that make you happy.
Aw.
Except you three should do exactly what I tell you. Joking.
So you
Yes.
said you worked for a major designer in New York City, right, for a while until we were born, obviously. So obviously we know Oak Tree Road is absolutely bonkers in the jewelry industry because you
Yeah.
grew up around that industry. You've experienced those kinds of customers. There's so many different factors that you grew up with in Oak Tree Road. So how did working with that designer who was not in Oak Tree Road at all How did that kind of change your perception of how you really viewed the jewelry industry?
Yeah, while I was working for the designer in New York and able to compare and contrast that to Oak Tree Road life, I realized that Oak Tree Road is a bubble. And that is not how the entire industry operates. And it was really eye-opening for me too to understand how the difference was so stark and what I appreciated and didn't appreciate in the industry. And so when I came back to Oak Tree Road, I kind of realized that I don't have the patience that Nani has. I saw myself just giving up at certain points and saying, you know what? I can't do this. If you want a nickel and dime for a little bit of money, you're going to have to go next door. And Nani would yell at me and say, you cannot let a client go like that. That's not how business works. And so it was a bubble in that I just thought, okay, you know what? These clients are going to come, they're going to buy, it's fine. But slowly I realized how hard Nani worked to keep those clients and kept them coming back and kept them happy. And little by little, I grew that patience, but I was never able to grow the patience as much as her to stay there and keep the business on Oak Tree Road alive. It just wasn't in my blood and it just wasn't in my generational roadmap, really.
I remember sometimes at the store it would either be packed with so many people or it'd be like 5 people in the whole store shopping. It was actually
Mm-hmm.
insane what the difference was.
Yeah. And you guys grew up in that store too, partially. You've seen the dynamics, you've seen the store, you've seen how Nani and the girls there worked. Like you've seen all of it. So and you've been in the back sleeping while we're working, like all the things.
It's also important because when we were there, we always saw Nani and Nana trying to connect with others because they, as you said, because they wanted to keep their customers.
Yeah. And community too was very important to them, is very important to them. And that's what really drove us to understand how important community, clients, relationships, customer service, all of that is, watching them and how they treated their clients.
I remember Nana telling me when we were younger, it always sticks in my head. He said, "The more you give, the more you get."
Mhm.
100%. Yeah.
That's kind of been
Yeah.
a motto of our family's life in that they don't tend to just keep stuff to themselves. They're always willing to give.
Mhm.
They donate a lot. They always want to make other people happy
Mhm.
because at the end of the day, don't think that if you're gonna give, you're automatically gonna get. You're still gonna have to work for that, word that. But
Yeah. No, yeah. That's even with just like client facing services or building a community, all the things like, and by giving, it doesn't mean just monetary giving, just giving your time, giving your kindness, giving your patience, all of that, right? And they get that in return 10 times.
for sure, for
And
sure.
that's what we learn.
Yeah, so obviously you learn the more you give, the more you get. What other lessons did
Yeah.
you take from Oak Tree Road and from New York into developing this online business that you've evolved into such a
Yeah.
great creation?
Yeah. So, as you know, Nani and Nana retired the store about 3 years ago. And I had decided quickly that I was not going to be able to run a retail store on Oak Tree Road. As I mentioned, it's just not my cup of tea. So we decided that I would take the business completely online and we would do it through social media. We would do it through private client meetings. We would do it through pop ups, all the things. And that's been going great. It is 100% outside of my comfort zone to be on social media this much. You guys see how much I struggle with that. But slowly and surely, I'm building some confidence, trying to do the best I can. And the most important thing for me at this point in this business is to enjoy it, to deliver impeccable customer service, just like Nani and Nana did in the store, to build a community just like they did, and ultimately keep their legacy alive that they worked almost 40 years for down through me and through you guys, hopefully, Callan, and carry it on. So that's really the most important thing for me. But I'm also learning that I really am enjoying it. It makes me so happy when I sell a piece of jewelry to a client and they love it so much. They wear it. I see them wearing it. They tell others about it. Like, that's truly what brings me joy in this business.
So, Mom, I think social media was the right move for you because social media is growing every single day. And your followers also keep growing. So, nice move with the social media.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's so far slow and steady. That's the name of the game right now for me. I just want my goal was always to have very authentic followers that turn into clients or build the community.
Au-
That was always the goal.
Authenticity is always key.
Yeah. So
I
true.
would like to say I did help Mom on her last live, and
He-
everybody loved me.
Make
you
sure to go
sure
check out.
did.
Make sure to go check out at Nina Jeweler on Instagram.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks for that plug.
Always. All right, Mom. I think it's time. Do you have any questions for us?
I do. You know I do. I always come out with these questions. So my first question for all three of you guys is, if you decide senior year of high school that you have no idea what you want to major in college, would you guys be willing to take a gap year to explore different opportunities and possibilities and travel and see what you love and don't love before going to college, so you can go to college for a specific major that you're really interested in? Shaylin, you can go first on this one.
That's an interesting question because I feel like there's so many pros, but there's also cons to taking a gap year. For example, I feel like personally, if I was to take a gap year, my flow of just being in school and that habit of just studying for different things, I feel like I'd consistently have that if I didn't take a gap year. And I feel like that would also be broken if I did take a gap year. But then on the upside, I'd also get a year of exploration to kind of see what's out there because, there's so many jobs. And that's also the point of this podcast, as we know, to kind of explore those different jobs. But yeah, I feel like if I didn't know what I wanted to do, I would take a gap year just to see what's out there in the world, not just in this little bubble that we live in right now. But there's so many
Yeah.
different things that I feel like taking a gap year would kind of help me because, as we talked about earlier, going into college with an intention is much more valuable than just going into college to get a degree and to get it over with.
Yeah. Yeah. And speaking of that, I think that going back, if I had the opportunity to take a gap year and really thought about that and really explored that, I might have done that because it would have given me that opportunity to kind of explore different fields before going into college. But then again, I don't know that my college experience would have been the same because I wouldn't have had the friends I have right now. I wouldn't have had the same experience maybe that I have right now. I don't know. I don't know. But like in retrospect, I'm like, maybe that would have been a good idea. I could have tried all these different things, like working for the jewelry designer in New York, or, working for a bank for 3 months to see, like, actually, what do I want to study? Maybe I would have gone like to do a physical therapy a job somewhere in London for 3 months to see, do I like that, So, and I don't know, maybe or maybe not. You're right. Good points though. Tama, do you think I should just do one question per person? Because you two would basically say the same thing, right?
Yeah.
Would either one of you, do you, either one of you have a different answer than Shaylin for gap year?
I would say no.
Okay. You would, oh, okay. So then, Cyan, what about you? Would you want to take a gap year?
I would not want to take a gap year because, as Jalen said, I feel like it would mess up the flow of my education,
Okay.
and I would also be losing like the friends I get, and I would want to like stick with them for the rest of my 4 years of education.
You may or may not go to college with these friends you have right now. They might be different anyway,
Your friends might just
So at
be
this
going
point,
different places.
yeah. And at this point, the friends you have freshman year of college year, you would just have the freshman year of college year the following year, like different ones. It was like whoever you'd meet, you'd meet. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Not that I'm
Yeah.
saying you should. I'm just giving you different So this question is interesting. Do you guys feel like you're stuck in this rat race to follow the herd of kids in high school right now? Like what they're doing is what you need to be doing, whether it's taking certain classes, activities, testing, jobs. Like, do you just feel like you're in this rat race, or do you feel like you're using this mind of your own to figure out what you specifically want to do and why?
So for me, I I think I'm kind of split 50-50 because
Mhm.
I do feel like I'm in a rat race because of I have to get good grades. I have to do standardized testing to get
Uh-huh.
into a good college, but I'm trying my best to use my mind of my own and think of what I actually want to do in the future so that I could plan ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah, for
Taylor?
sure. I think for me personally, I don't feel like I'm in so much of a rat race because yes, there's gonna be people outside, like people in your school that are gonna influence your choices and your decisions that you make. But I don't feel like I'm solely basing my choices off of them. I feel like
Mhm.
I'm kind of trying to stay in my own lane.
Yeah. Cyan, do you feel like you're in this rat race as a freshman, or are you just feeling like I'm trying to enjoy high school? I just got here kind of thing.
So for me, I'm just trying to enjoy high school and do what I want to do,
Okay.
and I'm just gonna stay in my own lane.
There you go. There you go. That's super important, guys, actually, as you're growing. Good point. Stay in your lane. But you have to keep your grades up. That too. Stay in your
Yeah.
lane, but keep your grades up.
Mom, I actually have a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
If you were to do this whole path again from high school to work, would you do anything differently?
Ooh, great question. I think that when I was in high school, had I known that doing internships or shadowing or working or all these things would give me more exposure to career paths, I would have tried harder to do that at that time. I think that we lived in an age where this wasn't as common. And honestly, I would have tried
Yeah.
to explore more within myself and to see where my passions lied. I think that life, as it always does, just worked out the way it was meant to work out. And I landed exactly where I was supposed to land. And I believe that for all of you guys too, and all the students out there exploring is where you will land, where you're meant to land. But those exploration opportunities are so important because it could bring things out of you that you didn't even know were there. And I think those are really crucial years to learn and explore and grow and teach and all the things. So I think that I would have definitely explored that a little bit more if I had that opportunity.
Yeah.
Interesting. That was a good point.
Interesting.
Just explore yourself. Don't
Yes.
feel pressured or rushed.
Explore.
Take your time.
Yes. Exactly. No stress. You don't need to feel pressure. There's no right answer. There's no right road. There's no right college. There's no right. Wherever you're meant to be, you will be. And the universe always works in ways where it just lands you there and you will experience and have like an amazing time. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and that kind of connects back to the question you asked us about the rat race because all these points that you mentioned
Mm-hmm.
are a different path from everyone else.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah. All righty
Well,
then.
thank you for coming on to this podcast, Mom.
Yeah, great
You.
conversation.
Thank you for having me. I wish you guys so much success. I can't wait to see where this goes and all these careers you explore. I'm watching and I'm learning too. And God knows, maybe at 50, I'll go explore and see if there's another opportunity that I want to do and pivot my career. I don't know. But actually, that's a lie. I'm going to go to college with Cyan. I'm not
Yeah,
going
you could
anywhere.
cook my food. Yeah, you could just cook my food, do my laundry, and I'll just go to school.
On it. I'm on it. Boy, mom alert.
Yep.
All right, guys. Thanks for having me. And I wish you guys success.
Thank you for joining.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for joining us.
This wraps up a great episode with Mom. Thank you so much for coming on to this podcast, Mom. You
You're
guys
welcome.
can find us on YouTube, Spotify, Instagram, TikTok, and Apple Podcasts and Threads. So make sure you go
Ooh.
follow, subscribe, like, and we'll interact with you guys on the comments and everything.
Yeah.
We are the
Fun.
Future 3, and we out. Peace.